Hello students, now let us go with our next topic, which is nothing but analysis of bars of composite section. Now what do you mean by a composite section? Composite section is nothing but when we have two different bars made up of, like, it might be a steel, it might be copper, it might be an iron, it might be some MS steel, it might be some gold, it might be some silver, or we even have like wood with concrete. So this type of problems you might even occur in your real time. So here, that is the reason we call this as a composite bar. Composite bar is nothing but when we have two different materials, and now here you can see this is a rigidly, it is fixed, and we are going to apply a force P. So from here, even if you see what is meant by P we can write it as it is the total load. Whatever we have, we can write as it is a total load we have. So L, if you take, which is nothing but the length of composite bar. It is nothing but length of composite bar. So A1 if you take, which is nothing but area of bar 1, we can take, yes. Now if you talk about here A2, which is nothing but area of bar 2, I can write. Similarly, if you talk about here E1 is nothing but Young's modulus. Young's modulus of bar 1. Similarly, if you talk about 2, which is Young's modulus of bar 2, we have. Fine. Now if you go with your forces, now if I apply my force P, but whatever forces we'll have, let us write as P1 and P2. Why? Because whenever you apply the force P, this force, I don't know how much force will be taken care by 1 and how much force will be taken care by 2. So like that questions you might get. You have to find out your stresses, you have to find out your strains, you have to find out your individual loads taken by the member. So that all. So that is the reason we'll write P1 is nothing but load shared by bar 1. Similarly, I will write P2 as load shared by bar 2. Now sigma 1 will write it as, it is nothing but sigma 1, we know that it is a stress induced in bar 1. Similarly, sigma 2 is nothing but stress induced in bar 2. So this is the given data we have. Now for this one, we have to calculate. In the question, he might ask, as I said, he might ask you what is the stress in each member, what is the strain, what is the load carried by each member here. So that all you have to find it out. So let us see how can we derive this one. Now before going to this one, we know that the total load, let us take it as P. As here it is given as P, so we'll take it as P, which will be equal to P1 plus P2. Why? Because see, if this is my load P is there, P1 will be carried by 1 and P2 will be carried by this member. Yes or no? So if you add P1 plus P2, you will be getting the total load as P. Yes or no? Now from here, if you calculate stress I will calculate in each and every member. Why? Because each, like this, if this material is steel, if this material is like some copper or something, the stresses will be different for each and every material. Yes or no? For this steel, the stress might be different. For copper, the stress might be different. So I will write as first as sigma 1. So as I have written it here. So sigma 1, what is my stress? Stress is nothing but, can I write as load upon its area. So I will take it as P1 upon its A1. Now similarly, even if I take it as sigma 2. So sigma 2 is nothing but stress in my second member. So which is nothing but P2 by A2. Now from here, if I write P1, which is equal to here sigma 1 into A1, I will just send it over there. I will just send this one over there. So from here also, if you write P2, which is equal to sigma 2 into A2. Now can I substitute this P1 and P2 in here? Let us take it as equation 1. Substitute P1 and P2 in here, equation 1. So total load P, can I write it as, which is equal to here sigma 1 A1 plus sigma 2 A2. So this is your total P. So let it be our equation 2. Now this one was about your stress. Now let us calculate about your strain. But if you see, as I have said you, this is my bar. You saw, now I have two different bars. Whenever we apply a force P here, fine. So what will happen to the elongation? The elongation in both the bars will be same. Yes. Why? Because whenever you apply a force, whatever elongation will be there for 2, the same elongation should be there for 1. Why? Because it is a rigid joint. As it is a rigid joint, the elongation should be same. If the elongation is same, then I can tell that the strains in bar 1 should be equal to strain in bar 2. Yes or no? Whatever strain will be there in bar 1 should be equal to strain in bar 2. So how can I write my strain? If you talk about your strain, I will write it here if you want. So if you see with your strain, how can I write my strain? Strain, I know that it is epsilon, which is equal to Young's modulus. You know Young's modulus is stress upon its strain. So strain, I will bring it here. So I will get it as epsilon is equal to sigma by E. Yes. So the same thing I'll write E1 I'll write, which is equal to here sigma 1 by capital E1, and E2 is sigma 2 by capital E2. So the same thing I think you can write it here. Strain in bar 1. If you see with the strain in bar 1, I can write as sigma 1 by E1. Should be equal to sigma 2 by E2. So this is my equation 3. So from equation 2 you can calculate here total force or total load, whatever it is there, you can calculate there, or you can calculate sigma 1 in terms of sigma 2 or sigma 2 in terms of sigma 1. I'll send it E1 over here, then I'll get sigma 1 is equal to sigma 2 by E2 into E1. So here you have to remember one thing, that E1 by E2 is equal to modular ratio. You will, most of the times you will be getting in the competitive exam, what is meant by a modular ratio. Modular ratio is nothing but E1 upon its E2, which states that the modular ratio of the first material to the second material. Yes or no? So E1, one material might be anything, so that is the reason I have given it as 1 and 2. So E1, Young's modulus of first material to the Young's modulus of the second material, this ratio is known as a modular ratio. Thank you.